Hey YouTube, Bookham Dano here with Peanut,
Hi.
Oliver Queen. Hey Oliver. Hey, so this is another comics and cocktails, although I think she's got a matcha latte,
Matcha latte.
which is tea, by the way. Fun fact. So
Cheers first.
today, yeah, cheers. I have an IPA. All right. All right, you've been doing a bunch of the Peanuts Picks videos.
Yes.
I think we're up to 8 or 9 at this point,
Mm-hmm.
where you do reviews and make some reading recommendations.
Yes.
But has there been anything that you've read in preparing for those videos that just didn't make the cut? It just wasn't very good. It was kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Dan told me these questions. Well, some of the questions. Some of them are a little still a secret, but he told me to bring some that I liked and some that I loved, and then some that I didn't like. So we're gonna start with the ones we didn't like.
Correct, yeah.
First. Okay, so this one really breaks my heart to say I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Fashion Beasts. Alan Moore, Malcolm McLaurin is the co-author on this, and this was probably like the second trade. It was up there for when Dan started collecting. He got me this and Lady Killers.
Yeah, that was an early.
This was an early.
We've had this one a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I've read this about 7 times.
I tried to read it once.
The premise of it is amazing. It's the retelling of the original Beauty and the Beast, so the 1750 story, like the scary, real Beauty and the Beast, not the Disney one. And then Malcolm McLaurin, from Sex Pistols, also huge fashion icon, wanted to, and in the beginning Alan Moore recalls when they first met, and Malcolm McLaurin had this idea. He was like, I want to combine the retelling of Beauty and the Beast and the story of Christian Dior. And when Christian Dior had this kind of like controversy.
Of course, I've had that idea many times myself.
Duh, who doesn't? But if you know Malcolm McLaurin, he is a huge fashion icon. He was Vivienne Westwood's partner for 30 plus years. They collaborated on a really known store called Sex, and it basically featured like fetish wear and stuff like that. Anyway, I don't know what's going on in this book. And as you can tell, I love the Sex Pistols. I love fashion. I love the grim fairy tales. I don't like real fairy tales. I like the real fairy tales. So I had a lot of things going for it.
So you like every single one of the individual elements in the story,
Alan
but
Moore,
just
yeah.
not put together somehow.
No, it was
Yeah.
no,
Like it just didn't work.
not at all. And by all means, humble me if you know what is going on. Just comment below. That's okay. I'll humble myself.
Yeah.
But I truly have given this. This is the
It's
one.
been a long time, but I did try to read it myself, and I did not get very far.
Yeah. Some positives. Art is awesome. Has lots of nods to punk music and old school hip hop a little bit. Of course, one of the characters wears like the iconic Marilyn Monroe white dress. Lots of different like little nods that are really fun. And
Like even I know that fashion moment.
yeah. So, but like what I was saying is this is the one book where I won't let Dan sell it it's gonna still sit on our shelves because of the two people. I just respect them so much. So yeah, so this is my first one.
Maybe the eighth read through will be the charm, and it'll all just come together, and you'll be like, "Oh, this is brilliant."
I tried in all different states of mind too, guys. I was like, maybe I have to be on a different level. Tried that.
What else do you have?
Okay, so this is the first one. We'll just put this.
Yeah, I got it
over there. Another one, you guys. Another one. I don't want to say I didn't like it.
Oh yeah.
Fight Club. Fight Club 2. Okay, so this was a big letdown. And I will say before I dive in, when we say that we're huge Chuck Palahniuk fans, these are...
Yeah, we've got a little cred in that area,
yeah,
I think.
These are all first editions checked. These are all first editions, and majority are signed by him.
Yep, a bunch of them are signed.
So, as an author, love you. Graphic novelist, here, you can put those over there. Such a good premise for a book. Again, when you read the back of it, it sounds amazing. What if...
So like Tyler and Marla Singer are married, right? And
yeah.
they have a kid.
And they have a child, Sebastian. And then all of a sudden, like, Marla starts feeding him...
or, I guess it's technically not Tyler,
no.
It's like Cornelius, or
well, that's
what
the
name
name
does he go by?
That's the name that he
Yeah.
goes by in the Fight Club. We just watched Fight Club the other day.
Yeah.
But basically, it's just the premise of, like, what if they got married? Okay, what if they got married? What if they had a kid? What would that look like? And
we were so excited when this came out.
We were so excited.
Yeah.
Dan did have the single issues.
Yep, we had just started getting into, like we had a pull list. It was pretty meager, but we had one,
and like
and
if
we
you're
were there every week.
If you're a Fight Club fan, like how and just remember, you're not a beautiful and unique snowflake.
No, you are not.
No, you're not. So I mean, it has so many nods to Fight Club, and a lot of some other of his novels. If you're familiar with some of his other novels. The first 2 issues, I was there for you.
Yep, started off real strong, I thought.
But I really liked the idea of like sending in your art for Rise or Die, so that he was like go on a train and tag Rise or Die.
Yeah, go tag this somewhere.
Yeah, send me a picture, and of course I was like, oh, wow, that's the best challenge I've ever seen. Art is by Cameron Stewart, who did The Other Side with Jason Aaron. Great artwork. I mean, that's probably what kind of like really saved a lot of it. But guys, it just...
Yeah, after the first few issues, for me anyway, it just like went from...
Yeah, like what are we doing?
Like great premise to just being, huh?
Yeah, and so, and then I even got Chuck Palahniuk's adult coloring book, and I don't like adult coloring books. I hate coloring in the lines. But
she does.
Yeah,
fact.
No, it's not my thing. But he has like a short story in here. This short story, fantastic. Yeah, so those are probably the 2 that I was really anticipating, and they really let me down. But on a lighter note, let's hear the second part.
Yeah, let's turn it more positive again. So,
okay.
You've read so much stuff. What has been especially good over the last, month or so?
American Carnage.
American Carnage.
And you have this. I don't know if you want to take the issues out. You have there's 9 issues.
Yep, it's a 9-issue, self-contained total story. And, I've got them all kind of bundled here. Yeah, I thought this was great.
So good. And especially reading it right now, in this political climate, he was really spot on with a lot of different things. Brian Hill, who wrote it. The art is fantastic. The story is bye Oliver. It's gut wrenching, but it's I would say it's so good. I recommend it. I recommend it. There's only going to be 9 issues because there was Brian Hill said that it was very hard to write.
Yeah, it was originally going to be at least an issue or 2 longer.
Yeah.
And he had to cut it short because, I mean, if you don't know, Brian Hill is a person of color. And so he's writing about a
charismatic leader who has political aspirations, but he works very closely with his family, especially his daughter, and he's a racist.
Yeah.
And he has a kind of like a brotherhood that goes around and just spreads hate everywhere that he goes, but people are drawn to him. He's very charismatic, so he has like this big following, and the FBI kind of gets him on the radar and asks a disgraced FBI agent to infiltrate the
yeah, and this FBI agent, because this is kind of an important fact, is he's a person of color, but he can pass for white. So, you know, that plays big into the story because he infiltrates this white supremacist
he's
group.
light skinned, so he can go in and play the role fine, and it takes a toll on him, and it's just it's really good. It's really, really good. I think probably we were talking that we'll probably do like a comics and cocktails and conversation and probably dive deeper into this book because I think it's a really important book and I think people should pick it up and read it. I read so many wonderful interviews because when I get ready to do these videos, I lose my words sometimes, so I have to have things like written down. And there were so many great interviews, and he compared this to that racism, or it's kind of like Game of Thrones. You have the Aryan Brotherhood, you have the old school cross-burning Ku Klux Klan, you have skinheads, and it's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, none of these groups particularly get along with each other.
But they all have one common goal, which is just to hoard hate, right? So, but they fight all the time. So there's a lot of that going on in this book. I mean, there's just so many different elements to this book, and it was great. This was something that Dan was reading, and I didn't pick it up, but I'm happy that I did now.
Yeah, definitely worth
definitely
checking
worth
out.
the read. And then I just have this one was really good.
Oh yeah, Doomsday Clock.
I don't know if you've read this one yet.
I have not.
This is really good. This is so good. It was good for me because I'm not familiar with the DC universe like Dan is. So this was a great introduction to a lot of the DC characters, and I'm a huge Watchmen fan. And I'm reading before Watchmen, and I just think that I was worried that it was going to ruin Watchmen, but it didn't, and it introduced like these 2 characters right here, and it was great. I really, really enjoyed this. I hope.
Yeah, so the one is Mime
and Marionette.
Marionette. Okay, cool.
And
I still have to read this, so
So I did
too,
3 because I wanted to stay positive. And my last one, Gideon Falls. Yeah. Right, Danny?
Yeah, this is great. This is
Gideon Falls.
something I was aware of it when it first came out, and for some reason I didn't pick up the single issues. I was, I think probably most of us, they collect comics or hoard comics, as the depending on the
Collect.
situation. I had just decided, like, you know what, I need to cut back on the single issues. There's some things I'll just, I'll wait for the trades and we'll read some stuff that way. And this was one of the first things that I had decided to do with that. And it is a lot. It's a different experience, reading the trades versus the single issues.
It is.
Because, you're waiting a month to get the next piece of the story, and you can kind of, at least I do, I forget things from time to time. And so sitting down and reading like the whole story arc at a time, or over maybe 2 or 3 days instead of several months, it's a little bit better reading experience, I think. But
I like this one. It had so many wonderful elements. So it follows a young man and a priest, and they both are, I would say human, because I don't like to say flawed. They're just human, and
they're not right in the head.
They're not right. They're not right in the head. But I don't like to say that. So the one is running around, and he's convinced that he can build the Black Barn back up, and that's kind of like what it's around. And his psychiatrist is like,
he's just like going around picking up these seems to be random pieces of wood.
He's going through the city's trash to try to rebuild this.
And this barn. Here's a piece of this barn, and you're like.
And his psychiatrist is like, oh my gosh, I have to admit you've gone off the deep end. But she ends up being like, wait, I think he's correct. And then it follows what they call a washed up priest. But he just has like regular problems like, the rest of us. And he is appointed a position in a small town. And he's like, what is this deal about this Black Barn? And everybody's kind of like shush about it. And the 4th volume is coming out. And when I'm a really fast reader. So when I finished the 3rd volume, Dan had like 4 Zoom meetings that day. And he came out just for like, air. And I was like, where's the 4th issue or the 4th volume? Because I thought he had it like in the back somewhere, and like I was like really upset. Sorry about that. Because like hasn't
come out yet.
So I'm really, really looking forward. Jeff Lemire, Sorrentino.
Yeah.
So
Angela,
many.
I think Sorrentino is the Andrea is the artist, and they're just a fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, Jeff Lemire, hello. He's just such a wonderful writer, and
the guy can tell a story.
There you go. He's a good storyteller.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely, I would say pick up Gideon Falls, and it is on Hoopla. All 3 volumes are on Hoopla. Doomsday Clock on Hoopla, and American Carnage is on Hoopla because I read it on Hoopla. So hopefully your local library does subscribe to.
Yeah, make sure you check out your local library if you've got a library card sitting in your wallet somewhere. Yeah, check out their online because most libraries have some kind of online services like Hoopla or Overdrive or Libby or there's a bunch of different ones that they can subscribe to. And there's good stuff to read, listen to, watch. All right, so what are some things that you're looking forward to reading?
Oh gosh. Okay. I hate Fairyland. I know I'm late to the game. I know.
We are often late.
I can sense all the eye rolling. I know. Okay. But it looks so good. So I hate Fairyland. Ice Cream Man, again, I get it. I'm late. I know. Before Watchmen, super late. But I am so into it right now. I just finished Minutemen and Silk Spectre before Watchmen. Died. I was like dying. It was the first time I was like, I need a moment. I need a moment.
Yeah, usually
to,
she kind of rips through these books so fast, and she's been really savoring the Before Watchmen so far.
Usually I go to where we have our graphic novels, I grab a stack, put it next to me, and then I just read. And this one, I was like, I have to like just think about this for a moment. It's just it's so good. So those are probably like the main ones that I'm looking forward to reading.
I'm looking forward to rereading those. I read those back early on. They were one of the first things I got into.
It was. I remember going through the like underneath. We would go and
see
like a cover. We didn't know what we were looking for at the time, but we're like, oh, we found one, and you got really into
I got a bunch of Before Watchmen at Greg's, right?
No, it was at Mike's, I believe.
Okay, I think we got a few at Greg's, but but yeah. So anyway, our early comic book store forays yielded some of that stuff, and they're not. The single issues are not expensive. There's a couple variant covers that are sought after.
The covers are really cool.
But pretty
Darwin
much all
Cook
the covers are cool.
Minutemen and
there's so much talent on
Amanda Cotter
on these teams.
does Silk Spectre, and Brian I cannot pronounce.
Azzarello?
He does the comedian in Warshak, and that's the one I'm reading next. I have to like mentally prepare myself to go into like.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details of those stories. Like I said, it was a while back, but I'm just gonna say right now, prepare yourself for the comedian.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a ride.
I think I can. If there's one person on this planet that can handle crazy, I think I got it down. I feel like, are we related?
Nice. Well, all right. So that's all the comic stuff. Do you have anything else for us today? No?
I do.
I'm pretty sure you do.
Okay. I will
quit protesting.
Just ask the question.
Do you have any of your own art that you'd like to show us today?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna preface this.
Here we go.
I've been an artist my whole life. I mean, it's kind of the way that, why I'm the way I am. So.
I have socks older than her, by the way.
My whole life. I learned how to draw I had a really great teacher. She basically.
And this is such an awesome story, I think.
I was that kid that people were like, it's a good thing she's cute. I was that kid, But this one art teacher saw that she said something that just like blew my mind one day. She said, everything you draw, it's just shapes. And then it's up to you to shade and to combine the shapes together. And I was like, for some reason that clicked,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can do that. So
I still can't, even after that explanation, but
so
I'm glad it clicked for you.
It did. And she was very much promoted.
I'll just hold these. Is that all right?
Yeah. So this is the mother of dragons, if you can't tell. So she was a really great art teacher, and when she realized that I could draw, she would just like plop down art books, and there was Picasso, and these aren't like mine, like these are other people's as references.
Yeah, you take a reference and you look at it,
because that's how I learned how to draw, was, and I drew the old guitarist, and she was like.
Which is what, Picasso?
Yeah, Picasso. And she did say to me, she said, "Holy shit, you have a talent." And I didn't know what to do with that, because it was kind of the first time I ever was told that I was, good at something. And she just said, get art books or look at magazines. So I would look at like, you know, models and magazines, and I try to draw their face, and that was kind of like how I learned how to draw faces and stuff. And she taught me how to like grid and stuff, and how to like shade. And I'm still learning. I mean, these aren't great, but you know, these are just kind of like what I do, like just doodling, if like dance, like, you know, doing something, whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's just how I learned, and that's just how I learned. I just picked it.
Well, it's great. I love it. I'll be working on something, and you know, over at the table or something, and she'll be sitting
Sweating.
in her chair with a sketch pad, and
Yeah.
you know, no time at all, there's a creation there that wasn't there an hour earlier.
Yeah.
So that is fascinating to me. But thanks for
Yes.
watching. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. I'm
And
sweating 'cause
we'll
of it.
we'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching,
Bye, guys.
everybody.
Stay safe.
Bye-bye.